I know it's late, y'all. We know it's late, but we had to come on. We committed to doing this weekly, so we're here. It's late, it's late, delayed but not denied. We're going to go ahead and talk about what happened this week in immigration. Sandra Sheffer, host of Race in the Races. And again, we have Christine Sanonju, community leader, that's here with me tonight. We just had a lot of stuff going on, but we're here and we're going to, try to keep it at about 30 minutes just to kind of give you an update on some of the things that happened this week in the world of immigration. Some very sad news happened. There's some wins that are happening in court. So that's good. We got some wins that are happening in some court, but we're still having some sad news. And in the beginning of the lead-in for the show talks about how elections have consequences, right? That's the first thing you hear me say when we're starting is elections have consequences. And we're learning that right now, right? We're learning that elections have consequences because these 100 days that we've had with this president, man, I'm telling you, we're learning all of the consequences of who it is that you elect. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Christine, what's on your mind this week so we can talk about on matters of immigration?
Good evening, everyone. Today officially kicks off Haitian Heritage Month, and although we celebrate, we also mourn because our Haitian people are suffering under this administration. Not just the people on the island, but the people right here. Mm-hmm. To hear that a Haitian woman died when she knew that she was not feeling well. She died in ICE custody. And that's what we want to open up with. Like, let's start there.
Yeah, no, it's she wasn't feeling well. Let them know. Allowed them to let them know. They sent her back. I think most of the folks, they just tell you like, oh, you tell them you got a problem, they'll give you like an aspirin or a Tylenol or something like that and pretty much send you back, to your room. I mean, I don't want to say that was I don't know, because I'm sure there'll be some investigations. I saw Ben Crump post about it, so the family probably reaching out to him, and there may be some settlements or whatever going on depending on what it is that happened. But what I do know is, like, when you have places that are overcrowded, right, and you don't have staff to match those numbers, you're going to run into problems like this. And this is the ultimate consequence of having an overcrowded space with not enough staff. And and unfortunately these kind of things may continue to happen if they don't decide that, okay, we're going to release some folks and deal with the numbers that we truly have staff for, or if they're going to be able to staff the facilities to match the numbers of people that they're trying to detain. And I don't know if they could staff facilities to match the number of people that they're trying to detain. So they really need to figure out how they can, stop all of this picking people up.
I just think that we've lost our humanity. Completely lost our humanity.
I ain't lose mine.
Well, I mean, as a country.
As a nation, okay.
No one should be condoning this. There should be an outrage. And then the other thing is like, are we getting tired of the fight? There should be protests happening right now. Mm-hmm. Like, when we see that we have a Haitian woman that I don't know what she died of, but I'm sure if she had gotten to a doctor or a hospital, maybe she would still be alive right now. When we see that we are being mistreated and treated like less than people, we need to take to the streets. We need to start writing and calling our senators. We need to take some action to make sure that no one else has to endure that. And then what about her family? Who's going to seek justice for her in this moment? Do we just say, oh, well, that sucks? Like, how do we move from here? What do we do?
What you said about people should be absolutely outraged, and there should have been like, I think about like what Miami used to be like in the 80s, right? And in the 90s. And mind you, I was young, I was in like an adult then, I was younger then, but I remember like when they were holding people at Chrome, they had Steve Foster, he was like a advocate. They would have been on 79th Street at the old immigration building already protesting, making noise, doing all those types of things. And we don't have that level of activism. And I haven't been watching TV and I didn't watch the news. So I don't know if IUCN had a press conference talking about this today. I didn't see it. You know what I mean? But I don't want to say it didn't happen because again, I don't watch the news like that, but I do read. So I think I would have seen something if it was
Yes.
something said about that, right? But if this was like, late 80s, early 90s when folks were coming, they would have already been outside. It would have been on Haitian radio, and they'd have been like, "Yo, meet us over here. Let's go do," or in front of Notre Dame, the Haitian church,
Yes.
Catholic church in Miami, when it was Père Jean Just and all of those people. That was like that real activism. We had community, and something happened. Those folks were organizing, and they organized quick. They
Yes.
organized quick, and I didn't see that. And this is a very terrible thing. And I know that people are scared. Like, so some of it is that people are afraid because this dude is so outrageous and ridiculous, and maybe they just like, listen, I don't want no smoke either, but I don't think that's the approach that we can take at this point, right? So for me, I think what we're doing is that we're using our voice, we're letting people know, we're
Yes.
trying to, and sometimes we may be calling folks out to be like, listen, y'all, what y'all doing? Like, what y'all doing? You
Yeah.
guys need to do something. And that may be, what needs to happen. But folks had networks. Like, you made a call, you got on the radio, and before you know it, 54th Street. You remember I don't know if you remember, if you like grew up here like that, but 54th Street would have been like crowded. That would
Crowded.
have been crowded. The church would have been crowded. Immigration is no longer on 79th Street, crowded, but there's a location on 7th Avenue and 88. It would have been crowded, and that would have been organized in a matter of like hours. People would
Oh
have been
yeah.
out there. But we don't have, like, I don't know who that person is in the Haitian community that's doing this anymore, right? So I don't know who the person is in the Haitian community that would have been able to put something together like this, particularly since the person that died is a Haitian national.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this this asks the question, like, do we are we raising new leaders? Where are our new leaders?
Mm-hmm.
Are we giving them the space? Are we giving them the voice? Are we giving them access to different tools? I think that we need to really talk about um, not just sitting back and being afraid. We need to be fearless in
Mm-hmm.
this moment. But we need to have those conversations with people and say, listen, who's willing to step up? Because a lot of our leaders are older now, or they're an elected official. They started off as advocates, they started off in the streets, and then they got elected to a higher position, and things change a little bit.
Yeah.
But we need a new set of leaders that are willing to put pressure on to burst the pipe.
Yeah, and it's like the person with that Rolodex. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
somebody has that. I'm like, I don't have that Rolodex. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I did, but I know folks, but I don't know them kind of folks, because somebody, and if the older Haitian leaders are tired, who did they give that Rolodex to, right? Because that should have went somewhere. Somebody should have that information, have those people that they can call, because everybody that was going there and is not necessarily their age. There was like it was all types of folks. So somebody has those numbers, somebody has those contacts, somebody has those reach. And I'm telling you, we should have at least had like a press conference outside of Farm
Yes.
Today at the very least. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll do it tomorrow, but that thing should have happened today. I know that they had some WhatsApp groups, because I've been in a couple of them, and I'm like, not even in the WhatsApp group, y'all ain't organized no 25, 30 people to go and say something. Like, what are we
I
doing? and
think
and I want to call out one of our elected, like, I mean, I don't want to have no more problems with Sheila. But this happened, and I think, I don't know, Pompano is her area, but
Yes,
Pompano
I
might
believe it
be her
is.
area. Like, what you mean? Like, what you
Yes.
mean? Like, what? I don't know. Maybe that, again, maybe there was a statement made and I missed it. But come on now, like that should have been sounding off from the mountaintops. And it seems like a lot of them don't want to touch this immigration, but you got to, because the immigration, that the way they're treating immigrants is really is the playbook of like how they're going to start treating everybody else, because the way they're treating immigrants is that they're violating the Constitution. You can't really tell if there's any separation of powers anymore, and this is just the test group for them to, as soon as if we sit back and like we're okay with this, well, then their next pet project is gonna be you know what I mean, and you could be
Yes.
any of us.
Well, I think that even if you're afraid to do a protest, I think that in this case, even a prayer vigil at the facility,
Yeah.
if we can organize groups, because Haitians love to pray. So we say, okay, this is a prayer vigil.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll feel a little more safer, but we have to show up in
Do
numbers because
something.
they cannot just think that they can get away with this, that
Mm-hmm.
no one's going to care, that it's
Yeah.
going to make headlines one day and then disappear the next. Like,
Yeah.
we cannot let them get away with that. And
Yeah.
for her memory and her struggle, we need to do that to honor her as well.
Yeah, I think her name was like Mariange Blas or
Yeah.
something like that. Mariange Blaze, that was her name. And I just like I'm just like nothing like, and I know I've been busy all day. I've been doing this, that, and the third, but I'm just like, and people are like, well, why should you should put it together, and why are you waiting for someone else? Like I said, my ministry is this, my ministry is different. We can't do everything, right? We can't do everything, and there are people that are positioned, and this is what they actually should do, right? So we need to call them out and be like, yo, this is what you're supposed to do. You got these ED positions, you got all of these titles, you got access to this funding, they giving you money to do this and that. Like, what you doing
Yes.
with it? This is what you're actually supposed to do. And so what we got to do is tell them, like, listen, y'all, this is what y'all was supposed to do. And somebody should have done something in honor of that woman, and anybody else that can find themselves in this situation. And remember, when we first started this, there was a Ukrainian man that died in Chrome because of lack of proper medical care. So this is not the first. She's not the first person. She's not the first person. So and there are people that's hoping to get the medical type treatment that they need. So this is something that people really need to stand up and speak out about in a major way. Because this, I mean, golly, because this is not getting better. What they're trying to do with immigration is not getting better.
It's not getting better. I was just talking to someone today, and they were like, everything just seems to be getting worse. And when we talk about his first 100 days, right? So he lines up these first 100 days, and he's like, well, this is what you voted for. Like, you're getting what you vote for.
Can you
No,
imagine? Can you imagine that's his answer? Can
I'm
you
like,
imagine?
first off, only 1/3 of this country voted for you,
Mm-hmm.
because 1/3 voted for Kamala Harris and the other third sat on their couch.
Yep.
So, no, you got 1/3 of the country behind you. There's 2/3 that did not vote for you at
Mm-hmm.
all.
And did not
So,
vote for
that's
this.
not the answer. He
And
is
even
not
the
a leader.
right,
He
and
is not.
even the third that voted for him, this ain't what he said. He said he was gonna be picking up bad hombres that was out
Yes.
here killing and doing all of this other stuff to folks. That's not who he's picking up. And I'm not saying that every now and then it ain't some of them in there, but the majority of the folks that's being picked up, they're not these bad hombres that he scared everybody with, that got fentanyl and doing all of this crazy stuff. I'm
They're
telling
not.
you, y'all, this is not though. Them 50,000 people that's in custody, that's not who's in there. These are people who are like dropping their kids off to school or trying
Yes.
to get to work, and you know what I mean. Somebody may have had a dispute and got picked up on a trespass or a domestic that was dismissed. Those are the people or people who are reporting,
These are
doing
people that
what
are
they're
showing up
supposed
to
to
their
do.
normal check-ins, like
Yes,
their normal check-ins. Like, they're
yes,
following the law. They're
yeah.
following the rules.
Yeah, that's right. Calling them early to be like, oh yeah, come, we're gonna, and you're detaining them. What? Like that's no people, that's not what folks bargain for. And then to say, oh, these people are out of status. No, there are people with approved TPS application that was valid until February 2026, and they were getting picked up. There were people that had court dates that were scheduled 25, 26, 27 that were picked up with mind you, they file their applications, they have their work authorization, they let immigration know that they're here, they're waiting for their court date to show up. These are the people that are being picked up, and I'm telling you, y'all, don't believe the hype that that's not who's getting picked up. He's not picking up a whole bunch of criminals. And then every now, I think, so this is what I saw. I saw like he had a picture of all of these like people, murderers or something, that was lined up across the lawn of the White House or something like that. I don't know if that was fake news, real news, what it is, because nowadays you don't know. But I saw some image that they said he had photos of all of these bad folks that was lined up in front of the White House. I bet you he ain't had no 50,000 pictures out there. You know what I mean? Because you got 50,000 people detained. You got 50,000 pictures of people that's outside of the White House. No. So apparently Sheila did make a statement yesterday. Monique Dalian said that. Thank you very much. She gave us the post. Okay, I appreciate the statement. However, what you said? Well, politicians and activists are not the same thing. So okay.
Who said that?
So politicians, we have activists turn politics, and when they become politicians, they got to do things a little bit differently. But we need some activism, because a statement is great, but I don't know if in this moment with a person being like dead, that statement was it. But I'm going to take it out. So tell me, so what are your thoughts on that? Because truly, he don't have 50,000 pictures out there. They're really. Yeah, this is not good.
So I think that we also need to recognize what the people have done in the past 100 days. And we need to keep our fire going. In the past 100 days, we have fought him tooth and nail. We have fought him in the courts. We have fought him in the streets. We have been resisting since day one. And I feel like the resistance movement is getting a little tired, because it's like he just keeps coming up with more stuff and it gets exhausting. But we have to call him out, call this administration out every chance we get, and we have to stay organized. I do not feel that we are I just don't feel like we're consistent with our organizing. And that's where our elected officials could really lead us in that. If they can set a standard every time something happens, a major event happens, if they can just say, we're not just going to make a statement, we're going to have a press conference. I think that would be number one, right? Because they're not just, because if you don't see their statement, if you don't follow them on social media, you're not going to see anything.
And I just looked it up. It's like a minute and 15 seconds, and it was some other things talked about in that. I don't know. That ain't sufficient to me.
Yeah.
Not with somebody being dead in a facility.
No. And so who was in that press conference? Was it a press conference?
No. It was on C-SPAN. I think it was on the floor, because maybe they're back in Washington. So it was something that was said while she was in Washington.
No. We need a press conference. We need it at, in front of the facility. We need the media there. We need people there. They need to know.
Shine the light. Not going to be. And and she has a big platform, right? Like you should. So, because a lot of people probably don't even know this, right? Like a lot of folks probably don't even know that this happened. They got to put this on a bigger platform so people could know what's going on. Put it on a bigger platform. Because one of the things that's happening, like, Chrome, they're building these tent cities. That's happening for real, right? So a person may hear it, but one of the things that's happening with news is that if you don't have a subscription where you're willing to pay these people $6-7 a week, which is like $35 a month to read the news, you don't get to read the news, right? You don't get to read the news anymore. So these things are happening, and folks are not going to go out of their way to, because I got one of those since I was like, I don't want to spend y'all spend $35 a week to read the Sentinel. That's just one source, and every single one of them is doing it, right? So like if I wanted to read 4 different newspapers, you mean I got to spend 120, 160, $150 a month to read the news? What are you talking about? So it's to the point where that information is like for a certain group of folks, right? Like they're keeping it away from us. So a person who has like a big platform, like one of our electeds, they should be talking about this so more people can know. Because I don't think the majority of Americans really understand how bad and terrible and crazy this immigration situation is. And it's getting worse every day. Now, I'm going to tell you that they flew some Venezuelans to Guantanamo Bay yesterday, like 2 days ago.
What?
Yes, yes. And one of the things that they're doing is that they're trying to force those individuals to take an order so they can say that they're agreeing to go, because they're saying like, oh well, if you don't go there, then we're gonna send you to El Salvador, right? Or like, yeah, like they're threatening
Wait,
them.
but are these criminals or just everyday
No,
people?
those some of them are people that have hearings pending, but most of them are unrepresented. Like if you don't have an attorney, they're gonna come threaten you, like say, oh, if you don't, we're gonna go send you to not I don't even know if they really are, but that's what they're scaring. And the people are like, okay, I'd rather go to Guantanamo Bay than go over there, because when I say this, I don't want y'all to think that they're not gonna have a hearing, because they are gonna have judges that are gonna allow those individuals to have their hearings at Guantanamo Bay. But again, these are non-crims. These are people that you're taking away from your family. These are people that already filed their application. These are people that were working. So now what are you doing? The family you're leaving behind are gonna like probably, especially if they're living in South Florida, you need 2 incomes or like a good income to support yourself. So what are you doing? Like they're totally just destroying people's lives. And I really have to believe that folks don't have a good grasp of like what's happening, and that's why we don't have people taking it to the street. They're over here, because people hear about what Doge is doing and they're mad at Elon, so they're protesting every day at Tesla. And now the older folks, and I am talking about older, like the older community, since they're going after Medicaid, Medicare, and prescription drugs, now they're starting to protest in front of Social Security, right? They're doing those on Tuesdays, like at one, like I think in between like 1 and 3 o'clock. That just
Wow.
lets you know that they're retired and they don't have no job. That's why they can go protest on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Hey, I'm here for it. Hell, if I was retired with no job, I'll probably be standing out there protesting with y'all at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, but I can't do it, right? So, but even so now, though, that community is like, these people really are going to try to be taking away our health care and our benefits. And so they're protesting in front of Social Security now on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. We need somebody to do that for immigration. Like we need somebody that's either gonna stand outside or at Chrome Avenue or go in front of these USCIS offices, because there are 4 of them. There's one in Kendall, one in West Palm, there's one in Oakland Park, and we have one in Miami. We need to start organizing and have people come out there and say that. Go in front of these facilities. BTC, where the young woman passed away, is in Pompano Beach, right? There's some places in Moorhaven, Florida, that they're detaining folks. There are places in McClellan near Jacksonville. So people need to, whoever has this platform, need to start getting folks out there to really bring awareness to this, right? Because I don't think people have an idea of how crazy and terrible this is and what's happening to folks in community right now. I don't think I
So
don't think they get it. I don't think they know.
so the one in Pompano, um, that that's not far. People from
No,
Miami can
it's right
make
off
it.
the turnpike too. It's actually between I-95 and the turnpike. It's on Power Line in Sample. It's
Oh,
right there.
okay.
It's in between. So if you're on the east side, you can take 95. It's right in between I-95 and Pompano Beach. Right by Waste Management. I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, by Waste Management.
That's horrible to even think that, but yeah. So what I want to commit to doing something.
Mm-hmm.
I will commit to doing something, and I will commit to contacting leaders, community leaders, people with a bigger platform than I have, and seeing if we can just show up. I don't have a problem showing up. It takes nothing to just show up,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to get a time that everybody can be there, and we need to put a press release together. But on air, I'm letting everybody know that I will be committed to organizing a demonstration at the facility in Pompano.
Yeah. And I think some folks have contact with the family. So like part of what you can do
Oh, good.
is yeah, so I think there people know who the relatives are, like you want to reach out to them and see what their thoughts are on this. But even if it's just not specifically for her, something needs to be done. Because again, if you can't have the enough sufficient medical staff to really evaluate the people that are there, then you got to do something about the numbers because you did you're
I
gonna have
mean,
more
but
of
the
this.
the truth of the matter is, I don't honestly think that they care.
And this shouldn't be a
Like
death sentence.
we're talking logical right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I know, but being, because you came into the country, however, should not be a death sentence, right?
I
Like the
mean,
penalty for
I
that is
agree.
not losing your life.
I
Like, come
agree.
on, that is not what it should be. So if you want to put people in facilities, you got to be able to make sure they don't die because whatever they did, the penalty is not death. Because if it was, that's not the place that they would be, and they should not be in a situation where they can lose their lives.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, so
I know that
yeah, we need to do something, and it needs to be more present. So they doing Social Security, they still messing with Elon money, but even though they mess with Elon money and Tesla, he robbing the bank and the government, so he making it back some kind of way, right? Like he's still getting himself contracts and all kind of stuff. So I think he might be, and you probably encouraging him to take more since he's losing out
he's
on
not
this thing.
worried.
I don't know. He's not worried,
He's not worried.
right?
He's not phased.
Yeah. And so again, I'm not, if they want to keep doing the Tesla stuff, go ahead. However, I think there are things like, especially with this immigration issue, those are the things that it's like, that's immediate real impact on people that, I mean, don't buy no Tesla. Get rid of the one you have. We got it. Now focus on some stuff that's just damaging the country, ruining the reputation, costing people their life, destroying families and all of that. Because even again, if you one of those people who are like, oh, well, I don't like immigrants because they're doing whatever, you can't be supportive of what's happening. Sending someone to a prison in a whole nother country that they can't get out of, like you can't be okay with this. Flying people out in the middle of the night, even though they did all of the things y'all say y'all want them to do in order to be here, we can't be okay with that because this is just a practice run on this community. And then next thing you know, they're going to move on to someone else. And then what are you going to do then?
What do you think about 2026? Do you think that we are structured and organized enough to flip some seats and take back the House?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what I think should happen. I think almost every U.S. House representative person should lose their job in 26. Like when I mean that. Republicans and Democrats alike. I literally think they all should lose their damn job because they are not legislating. I'm serious. Because
I'm sorry, I tried to stay.
Listen,
I tried.
because all 435 of them are up. All of they. And I'm pretty good about. If people know me in my real life, they know that I curse, right? But I managed to do this show without cursing. Like I think I could count the times if I like something slipped out. So I'm really good about not cursing. But let me tell you, I think they're almost all. It might be a few, maybe a good 50 could stay. But I'm telling you, them people need to lose. I don't think it's more than 50 of them that should really be there. Like, so 385 of them should be looking for something else to do. And somebody need to run against every single one of them. And people need to organize to put them all out. Because this is absolutely stupid that they're sitting here and doing nothing. They're not working. The only thing what we heard about that they're bringing out in the House is that they're trying to say, okay, they can deport American citizens. This is what y'all done, and since y'all been in office, this is the only conversation y'all having about legislating. All of this man done signed with 2,000 executive. It may not be 2,000 executive orders, but it feels like 2,000 of them.
Yeah,
He done
it
found
feels like
hundreds
a lot.
of executive orders and you guys are not legislating. So what y'all there for? Collecting checks to do what? Literally 385 of them should get fired. Democrats and Republicans alike, because this is absolutely ridiculous. We need people who are gonna stand up, fight, and go work for the people that elected them. them. I don't care what big corporation gave you money. I don't care about them. You went there and you said you're going to do the work of the people, because even with all that money from corporations, if you didn't get that vote from all of these folks, you would not be there. And for you to go sit there and do nothing is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And they should not. I'm telling you, they all should be gone. All of them. Okay. Well, I'm gonna let 50 stay, but by 385 of them, I almost know if that math is right, but that might be what it is. Should Democrats and Republicans alike, because they're not doing anything. Like these, well, I mean, I guess Cory Booker but those are senators, right? Like Cory Booker.
Cory Booker's a senator. It's just
it was Booker
Hakeem Jeffries.
Okay, so he's the House of Rep, and
he's
they were sitting on the steps, and then other people came, and then like who do they decide to arrest? William Barber from like North Carolina.
He's always getting arrested. It really breaks my heart because he's really a fighter.
He's a fighter. He ain't healthy enough to be in nobody's jail. Why y'all putting this? What y'all doing? Like seriously? Like I don't want to make jokes about it, but like, come on, man. Like,
well, to be honest, when you get, because I've been to I've been to a march in Washington D.C. where the goal was for everyone to get arrested, and it was like a really seamless process. So like. They'll arrest you, they'll sort of give you like a little ticket, and then you kind of go on your way.
But we're not here for none of these like this stuff like it's for show. No, we need some for real. Like I done did some stuff. I'm about to sit in here and have like a what they gonna do, go on a hunger strike kind of stuff, because this is serious business. Like this is really, 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 really like serious business right here. And every time you think about it, I'm just like because this guy has no limits. Like he has no limits and he has no low. All right, he has no limits and no low. So you need straight up fighters. You need fighters. You need fighters that are gonna be there, and they're not gonna back down from him. And if that means that in 2 years after they get elected, you got to bring in another group of fighters, let's do it. Like we don't need people who
let's do it. I love that.
Like, we don't need people who just like, nah, dog, I can't do that because I'm trying to get reelected in 2 years. No, you need, just like how in basketball, where you have that one guy who comes in and all he's there to is to get fouls. Like that's your job. Like you gonna get 6 fouls because you gonna stop. We need straight up fighters that are gonna be in there. So in 26, that's what needs to happen. All these people who just want to sit there and become multi-millionaires because they've been in there like long enough, it's time for y'all to go spend the money y'all done stole, made, whatever, with your insider trading nonsense, whatever you did to make your money. Just go on vacation and go get some strength or some spine in your back or whatever, because you guys you're ineffective right now. You're absolutely ineffective at this point, and they should all go. So that's what I think should happen in 26. Now, you said somebody like, do they have people? I went to an event yesterday, and I got a little flack about the original post I made because I misidentified a group. My bad, sorry. Right?
Oh yeah, I did. I saw that.
Yeah, I kind of misidentified one of the
calm
groups.
Down. Right? Like it's not that big of a deal. And then another thing is they could have addressed
it actually is a big of a deal because the group that I referred them to, they don't want to be them people. And
got it.
They have reason. They have reason. They're like, that's not who we are. And I understand. They don't want to be associated with them folks, right?
Got it. I understand
why they was a little mad. So I redid the post, but I still got a problem with the fact that this Democratic Party in Florida is supporting a guy that's been a Democrat for 5 days. That man became a Democrat last Friday. Y'all got a whole room full of people, and y'all gung-ho about trying to make him the next governor of the state of Florida. So all these Democrats that's been running for office, that's party chairs, that's been doing all this stuff, ain't none of them equipped to go be the governor of the state of Florida. You got to go get a former Republican. You got to go get a former Republican that's been a Democrat for 5 days. Please.
So I think the strategy, and I'm just saying as an outsider looking in, I think the strategy is that they see that Florida has become really, really red. So it's the same thing with Charlie Crist that they tried to run, back in
that was an absolute disaster. There's no way they should have ran Charlie Crist for nothing.
Agreed.
That was terrible.
But I think that their idea is that let's get someone that Republicans like.
No.
And then
that's not going to work. That's
I
not gonna
agree.
work. It ain't work.
It
It ain't
doesn't
never
work.
worked. It ain't never worked. And Charlie Crist been our problem since 2010, right? Because Charlie Crist was the one when he couldn't get the Republican nomination because they
He
were
went to
trying to make
independent.
they really wanted to see if they could Marco Rubio was going to be the next version of Obama, and that turned out to not work because remember Charlie Crist was going to be the Republican nominee for Senate. But Obama won in 8, and so they were like, "No, we got to go young." So somebody found Marco Rubio, and then that's how he ended up being a Republican nominee. And since he wanted to run, he ran as an independent and screwed up. He messed up Kendrick Meade because some people
Yes.
supported him, right, as the independent, and Kendrick Meade ended up losing. And that's how Marco Rubio ended up being in our life and still in our life, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this whole nonsense that the Democrats were like, when we can go get a moderate Republican, no, you should have been creating a strong Democrat that has crossover appeal. You don't go get no former Republican.
Agreed.
That is not going to work. Y'all gonna lose and lose, and that's why you keep losing because
You
you
should
keep
be a
doing dumb
consultant.
stuff. You know,
Why are you not a consultant? You're
because
so on point.
that is not gonna work. As a matter of fact, what I think gonna end up happening is Jason Pizzo, who became the independent, might end up being the governor. You know, because he could get all the independents, maybe some Republican, maybe some Democrat. So the person who y'all said good riddance to might win. Or because what they don't understand, especially if you're not getting the message out the right way, is Republicans gonna just vote for a Republican. They don't care who it is. It could be a ham sandwich. If they got a Republican next to his name, that's who they're gonna vote for. They keep forgetting that that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like these people that you're trying to get to cross over, you're only gonna get the ones that got some sense to do that, right?
And the Republicans are going to like Pizzo because he left the Democratic Party. So they're gonna be like, "Ooh, we like that. Like maybe he's on our side." And so he's gonna get a lot of those votes, and the non-parties are gonna feel like he resonates with them because they
So they
do a
stick on the
little.
Democratic Party too.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
you're right. Pizzo has a shot. I
You know,
don't think
like
that he's the choice. I don't
no,
think that
and I,
he's.
and I went to the event with David Jolly yesterday, and he kept talking about how he's on MSNBC. I think in the first 2 minutes that man said MSNBC about 15 times. I'm like, bruh, ain't nobody watching MSNBC no more. Don't you?
No.
Don't you? No, maybe them people ain't nobody watching MSNBC like that because when Joe went to go see Donald Trump, everybody like, what
That
the
was
hell?
it.
Right?
Done.
That was a problem. Then they out here
Never again.
Enjoy. So you ain't got no black women watching that. So who the heck cares that you at MSNBC? You that tone deaf, you don't get it. So yes, that might have been your transition from being like a Republican to whatever, but bruh, you don't get this. That's not a selling point anymore. That's not a selling point. Because MSNBC probably about to go out of business.
Yeah, as they should.
Like for real. And he kept talking about that. And you could tell he just he ain't ready. He ain't ready. And the Democrats are fool for that. You gonna tell me y'all ain't got nobody that could go run? You gotta go get a former Republican? Y'all nuts.
I just think that Trump has given us he's given us these wins on a platter because of the way he's destroyed this country. It should be easy to win in 2026. Like this is a no-brainer.
Because everybody could get it. Everybody could get it in 100 days. Can you imagine what next year gonna look like? People gonna be like, Lord, just Lord, like Lord, make him go away already. You know what I'm saying? But if y'all out here trying to just get former Republicans because you ain't got your base ain't strong enough, y'all ain't training up nobody, ain't nobody, you know, like come on, man. Y'all out here. No.
Well,
but 26 should be a bloodbath for everybody. Like I'm telling you, at least 385 of them should lose their job. Republicans and Democrats are like all 218 of the Republicans should absolutely be gone. Like,
well, I want Maxwell Frost to stay. I think Maxwell Frost is one of the good ones in Florida.
He's a fighter.
Yeah. I want him to
some more organizers in there running.
Yeah. But everyone else, I just don't see it. But you know.
Yeah, no. And then that governor's race is up, and I'm like, y'all making a mess of it already? You're gonna go get David Jolly, who been a Democrat for honestly, 5 days.
Any of these members of Congress can just step down, like because you're not doing much in Congress, and just
They
run
ain't
for
doing
governor.
nothing. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing
Yeah,
nothing. And oh, did you see that Mike Waltz already left the Trump administration? He was the
I
guy.
did.
I think he's out of. He was the one that's out of Congressional District 6, the one from the East Coast where Cookman
Yeah,
and all of that is. That was the national
for the special
security person.
election.
Yeah, and then what's the name? Trump appointed him, but he the one that got caught up in the text messages with the journalists about the wartime
Mm,
secrets or whatever. And so now him and somebody they're leaving. They're leaving the administration. I think a bunch of people gonna start leaving because they're realizing that this is getting stupid. But I have to give at least the Supreme Court credit on some things because they're actually telling them, man, they're like, dude, you can't do this. You cannot do this.
good.
They're basically saying like, no, you can't do this. And I think they're realizing that they should keep their law license and their integrity. He's temporary. They have lifetime appointments, right? And
Yes.
they don't need to do this. Like, what y'all
Yeah.
listen to this man for? And the Congress ain't got no spine, so all of them and all those senators that's up in 26, y'all could go too.
So I started a movement to help those that are running for office to challenge some of these seats. We've been sort of creating a database. It's called Together We Will, togetherwewillpack.com. You can go there and you can
Together we will.
Together We Will Pack, togetherwewillpac.com. And so what people are doing is they're telling me what congressional district they live in, giving me their contact information, and we're building a voter database for candidates that are running so that we can say, hey, listen, those that have joined our movement, we have about 10,000 voters that are willing to vote for you. You know, we'll schedule like a town hall where you can meet them, talk to them about your vision, but we are helping them reach the voters. So I am determined to flip a lot of seats in 2026 and challenge some Democratic seats as well. These candidates do not have the resources. So if this is what we want, we have to all pull together.
Yeah. And when you say challenge some Democrats, right? So David Hogg, who is the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, right? The DNC, he basically said, yeah, I'm going to raise $20 million outside of the DNC to support Democratic candidates, right? And Ken Martin's like, you can't do that, and I want you to resign. And I keep saying, like, them young people ain't playing with y'all. He's not going to resign, and he's going to continue to raise money and support candidates outside of the ones that you guys want to pick, because I don't know where they're getting these people from, but like right now you need straight fighters. Like you need
We need to
fighters,
shake things up.
and you need people who don't care about getting reelected in 2 years to deal with this administration. All of these other people that think about their political future, this
David
is like,
Hogg is saying what we're all thinking.
yeah,
We need fresh new energy. And honestly, if we were willing
and they need to primary
shake
these
things
people for
up,
real.
a lot of these non-party affiliate voters would vote Democrat because they're like, finally, a breath of fresh air. You know, they would vote that way, but they're tired of the same old, same old. That's why they put themselves in limbo. Like, I don't know where I belong, but I can't deal with the same old, same old.
Yeah, and you know, like how the Republicans, when the people fall out of line, they primary them, but the Democrats won't do that. They won't primary folks who aren't doing anything. Like,
listen, I will say this. I primaried my very first race. I primaried a Democrat for Congress. Names will remain nameless. But I've said this before. Everyone that primaried a Democrat was put on a black list. And any consultant that worked with a candidate that was challenging an incumbent, a Democratic incumbent, if you worked with them, you would no longer work with any other
and see,
candidate
that's
in the
the
Democratic
problem.
Party.
That's the problem. Those people should not be able to keep their jobs when they're not doing a good job. Like that's just not cool. That's just not cool. You know, and the fact that again, and it makes the case. The fact that y'all got to go get a former Republican to be your Democratic nominee means that you have not put in any work with anybody for them to be able to run for governor. Y'all know this man was going to be term limited. You know, when he won in 22, you guys should have already been putting in the work to figure out who it is that's going to run for this seat in 26. And now this what y'all doing? Like what? You guys are
Yeah.
preparing. You didn't. How is it that you're not preparing? But that's because the party's so divided, and like every county, they got a whole different vibe going on. Like I don't know, but this is pure nonsense. This is pure nonsense. Because there were some candidates that ran in 24, and I was like, I knew they were gonna lose. I was like, I'll vote for them anyway. But I'm like, y'all gonna lose. Like, I mean, there were people that couldn't get reelected, and then you okay. Just
So we have a serious leadership crisis,
yes.
because we have this dictator in office, and if we don't get our leaders in order, that can fight him, it's really hard for the people to see change, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to who's passing the laws.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we need members of Congress. We need those that are in the Senate and in the House, to put the people first. Right now, you're absolutely right. None of them are putting the people first.
None of them. And let me tell you, like when this immigration stuff first started, because it started early. That thing was like day 2. This man was on some nonsense, right? And I said this before. I called at least 2 house reps, US House reps, and said, listen, this person in your district got this. They said, oh, we can't do that. Had they started doing that and fighting and protesting and making noise from the very beginning, I don't think we would be here. I don't think they will be here, but they sat back, and they're still kind of sitting back, and letting the nonprofits and all the other people do the work that you're there to legislate. What are you doing? And I'm telling you, they didn't want no parts of it, and it's nuts that they're able to say they're here to represent people, and they're not doing the people's work. They're not doing the people's work. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. It's crazy. And the reason why, the conversation seemed to like not be about immigration, because we're talking more about politicians, but it is related because it's the
Yes.
people that are supposed to be legislating and making laws that would benefit and make our whole country better. They're not doing it. The people who have the responsibility to legislate are not legislating immigration laws in a way that we would not be here. If they would
Yes.
legislate and make the laws however, whatever they're gonna look like, we would not be here. This should not be no executive order type situation. You 435 of y'all plus 100 senators are there to legislate and let the laws look like what you want them to look like. But this man should not be able to do the foolishness that he's doing, that people gotta go be up all hours of the night in shifts so they can file lawsuits because he's trying to send people out of the country in the middle of the night because
In
he
the
thinks
middle of the night.
everybody sleep. You know what I'm saying? No, you guys were sitting there to legislate. Be your branch of government and legislate. And that's why that part of that conversation relates to what it is that we're talking about.
Yes, it does 100%. Because at this point, we do not need anyone else that's going to be doing performative politics. We need real change. We need guts. We need courage. We need bravery. In order to take down a giant, we need someone that's willing to forget everything else, forget your position, forget keeping being reelected, forget all of that, leave all of that out the door and say, I'm showing up for the people today and every day until we can stop this man dead in his tracks. There was a website that somebody posted the other day. I don't know how you feel about this, but there's a website where you can go and see if your representative would support impeachment. It's a citizens impeachment website or something like that. And so they started posting up their reps, and it shows that they are not committed or if they are committed. And I thought it was really interesting because some people were like, what does that matter if they support impeachment or not? And honestly, I just wanted to get your take on that. Do you think?
Well, I mean, he's impeachable right now, like for real, right?
Yes.
So I think that does matter, and I believe he is going to get impeached. It's just a matter of when. I can't see.
Not with this leadership.
Well, not probably not before 26.
Yeah.
Realistically, probably not before 26, but possibly because again, we're 100 days in. You know my constitutional crisis. Like people say that word, and a lot of people don't understand it, but we really are. Like we really, really are in a situation where we're like, what? Like what y'all doing to America. Like that is some for real stuff, right? And I think when Mike Johnson realized that he's on a for real sinking ship, he may be willing to do that, because this is to the point where this dude is like, this man is like lost his friggin' mind. Now, right before we came on, I saw that because he wants to have a military parade for his birthday, right? And first they would say, oh no, that's not what it is, whatever. So for that thing, it's gonna be 6,600 armed forces members, right? And 50 helicopters for this thing that he wants to. You are here firing people, making people leave their job because you trying to save money and say the government ain't got no money, but you about to have a party that requires 6,600 soldiers and 50 helicopters. Come on, people. Like, come on. Like,
what?
Come on. Like this was happening. This is crazy. This is unique. I think
and this is what his
and we're within 100 days. So by the time that happened, it'll be 6 months, because I think his birthday's in June sometime, right? That'll be 6 months to it. Listen, people they're getting sick of it. They will already regret starting in November. The farmers, they got a whole bunch of regret because they can't sell no soybean. You know what I mean? They're not getting paid for the things that they did, because when they thought USAID only meant Africans, and they realized that, oh dang, that's where our money come from too. So they about sick of that. And I'm telling you, I think, I don't know if even those folks are going to be able to be like, okay, we're going to wait till 26 to get rid of him.
Wow.
He's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. And it's ridiculous. And this country is better than this, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
At least I want to believe it.
We have a dark past. We have a dark past. But even in the darkness, there has always been light.
Mm-hmm.
Even during slavery, there was always a group of people that were fighting for the goodness of this country. I think that we can see that in every generation. There's been some major events that maybe showed the darkness, and then another event that showed, wait a minute, we are the light. Right now, it's very, very, very dark. I think that people are scared, but I see what like 5051 is doing, and I see all the immigration lawsuits, and I see, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It may seem bleak, but it is there. So we just got to keep fighting, and we've got to keep resisting, and we can't stop. But if we're going to flip seats in 2026, we have to organize now. We need to count the numbers now. We need to raise the money now. We need to push the candidates now. These candidates need to do this full time. Quit your job. We need you guys on the road every day,
in these streets, getting to know people.
Yes, it needs to happen now. I beg of you, reach out to me. Go to togetherwewillpac.com, togetherwewillpac.com. I am ready to help however I can.
And let me tell you, so when you talk about history and stuff like that, right? We're living in history right now. Like, we're living in history. What's happening in the United States right now is going to be in every history book, like around the world. So like, we may not live long enough for when they start talking about it and breaking it down, but we are actually living in American history right now. And people are not going to like the way the story's written about them, right? Like the stories are being written. It's going to be about like whose perspective, but we are literally living in American history right now. And this era is going to be in the history books. Not everything about America makes it in the books, but this is going to make it in the absolutely going to make it in the history book. And so what are people going to be able to say? Like, what is history going to say about what the people did during this time? Because we're literally living in a historical moment right now. We're living it. That's
going beautiful. To be in the book. What is history going to say? That's up to us.
What is history going to say about us? Because we're living in history. This moment is going to be in all the books. What is it going to say?
Yes.
Because they're taking them away, trying to rewrite it, but they're going to be writing about this. What are they going to say? You know, what's going to be said about what we were doing in this moment in time?
I love it.
In history. We're living history right now.
So, I love it.
All righty. We this was only supposed to be 30 minutes. My kid's like, ma'am, you ain't fed us. It's like 10:17. I'm just kidding. All righty. So next week, yeah. So next week we'll see. My niece graduates next week from Cookman. Yay,
That's
Jaden.
awesome.
She graduates. That's the last
Congrats.
of my sister's babies. So she did good. All of her kids are grown, like for real now. So if I might be back by then. If not, then I'll let you know. If we're gonna do a show or something like that next Thursday around this time. We should be back, but
Yes.
if we're not, then we'll see you the week after. But it'll be a lot to talk about because we didn't
Awesome.
even get to talk about the Enemies Act or anything, right? We had this whole
Yes.
thing that we're
Well, we
gonna
kind of touched on the fact that the courts are stopping him.
yes,
So,
from doing that. Yeah, so we're doing that too. All right, and they're building 10 cities right before hurricane season at Chrome.
Jesus.
That's funny. My God, who are these people? But
So I
okay,
have my marching orders. I'm going to organize something that we can do in Pompano. I will
okay,
let you know what I can come up with,
okay.
and who I can contact. And you'll let me know if we're going to, when we can do a
We'll talk
recap.
about it. Once we get some details together, we can hop on, do a quick 15-minute live or whatever, put the word out there, get a flyer, post it, share it on all these different platforms, let people know that something needs to be done. And I'm here for all of that. And I truly appreciate you, like, willing to do that work. We're gonna do what we can. We're gonna do what we can. And I think we're gonna we called a couple people out, so I suspect
We're going to get phone
somebody gonna hear
calls.
about it. We're gonna hear about it, and so maybe some things will get done because the fact that this woman didn't even get like a whole press conference and only got like a minute 15 seconds on the house floor, like I don't know, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we gotta do better, and we gotta fight. We need fighters in there, and people run for office, right? Y'all know y'all could do a better job than half these clowns because they ain't doing no job. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
come
Call
on, run
me.
for
Let me
office,
know if you need help. I will
run for
help you.
office. And if you start running now, you ain't gonna need the $2 to $10 million it's gonna take to do it because you're gonna go and know the people and get the votes that you need.
Yes. They will stop. They will try to stop you. They will do everything they can to try to stop you, but you can win.
You can
So,
win. You can win without spending $2 to $10 million. I'm telling you. Because all you need to do is get the votes, and that's putting in the work and getting to know your community for real instead of like because most of that money ends up being overpriced TV money anyway. So,
yeah.
all righty,
Awesome.
y'all. All righty.
Good night.
All right. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Elections have